Was that it? That was it?
Summer is here once again, and you know what that means. It's another montage of video game reveals with Summer Game Fest. This year has actually been very satisfying with all sorts of reveals of highly anticipated games. Gears E-Day, The Last Ronin, and the glorious return of Crazy Taxi. Holy shit, the industry remembered that Crazy Taxi was a thing. That's crazy. There was a lot of fun reveals with fun trailers and games that actually have anticipation to them. But there was one in particular I wanted to make a video on. I'm sure there are people expecting me to comment on Ocarina of Time, because I know my harassment circle loves harassing me for speaking negatively of Nintendo's predatory business model and the shills who support it. But honestly, I can't really form an opinion on it right now. It's really just an announcement trailer. There's really no indication that it's just a rehash of an old game. At least not yet. And if it is just a rehash with nothing to offer over the original, then I feel like what's the point of making a video on it? It would kinda just be a repeat of stuff I said in previous videos regarding overpriced remakes of old games that offer nothing new over the original. I already made my videos on Halo Campaign Evolved and Star Fox 2026. What am I supposed to say about Ocarina of Time? Or any of the other ones? Anyway, that's not the trailer I want to talk about. I want to talk about how we finally got a genuine update on Kingdom Hearts 4 and how it ended up being an unimpressive endeavor to hype it. I know a lot of people were excited by this trailer, and on a surface level I understand why. The drought for this series has gotten so bad that the community is desperate for any signs of life from this game. But I feel like that's also the problem. I feel like the hype is less about what's in the trailer itself, and more about that there's even a trailer at all. But that's not what they should be doing. They should be announcing new stuff to show off the creativity and ingenuity this game can offer. All we got was some extremely vague story details that clear up nothing, and reskinned combat from KH3. I mean, let's really look at what happens in this trailer. Okay, so they're talking about how this world didn't have Heartless before. So the Lost Masters and Sora somehow brought the concept of light and darkness to the real world or something? Do they explain it any further? No, that's literally all the dialogue in this trailer. 4 years of waiting, and this was all the new story details they could show us. Other than a small glimpse of young Xehanort giving Sora an umbrella, they don't show anything of interest. Just a bunch of profile shots of vaguely recognizable characters. It's just more of Sora fighting Darkseid. I mean, 4 years of waiting and this was all they could show us? No Disney worlds, no scenes of Riku and Kairi searching for Sora, no Final Fantasy characters, no Hades actually appearing on screen when meeting Donald and Goofy, no Pete and Maleficent searching for the box because they love teasing us with that subplot so much throughout the previous game. It's just Sora flying through buildings and fighting Heartless, which is just commonplace with the series by now. And I know there's gonna be die-hard fans who are gonna make videos cherry-picking every frame of this to make up theories about what's going on or what's gonna happen, but we don't want fan theories. We want actual story footage from the developers. After the incredibly lackluster ending that was rushed out in KH3, they should be doing something to reaffirm people's trust in Nomura's ability to write a coherent story. This trailer doesn't do that. It's just more of what we already saw in the last trailer. But what about the combat? Does it at least look interesting? Well, for right now it looks okay, and I am looking forward to how they expand on it. But from what was shown in this trailer, it feels lacking. Not because I'm one of those ass clowns who bitches about floatiness because they never got over Osaka Team, but because there's nothing really new. Sora does some basic combos carried over from KH3, he does some shot lock attacks, he does some flow motion techniques, and that's pretty much it. Even the dive attack with the lava erupting from the ground is just a flashier version of the dive attack from KH3. Sora doesn't really do anything refreshing here, which feels underwhelming considering the standard that's expected from the franchise. One of the things that makes the series fun to play through, at least most of the time, is that each game in the series gives you a unique experience. Every Kingdom Hearts game has its own identity because of how the combat gimmicks differ from each other, so you got something new no matter which one you were playing. KH1 had a standard approach to hack-and-slash gameplay with RPG elements like magic and summoning and allies with their own techniques. Chain of Memories was a game of war where you had to combine your cards for the highest value to land your attacks. Days had a mission-based level system that made it accessible for co-op, with over 15 different characters to choose from. KH2 pushed the PS2 to its absolute limits, making it feel like the combat in Sora himself truly evolved since the first game, with all sorts of new combat tools and freedom to switch between all of them in the heat of battle. Birth by Sleep allowed you to play between 3 completely different characters, with their own movesets and control schemes while their stories intersected with each other. Coded had a series of challenges that completely transformed the gameplay depending on which world you were in, even having a level based on turn-based combat like a classic RPG. Dream Drop Distance introduced flow motion, allowing you to travel across massive fields and using the environment itself to attack enemies. KH3 had the form change system and the ability to switch between 3 different keyblades at one time, all of them with their own properties and serving a practical purpose, giving the player dozens of different combat possibilities. I'm sure KH4 will have something new, but if it does, they didn't bother showing it in this trailer. It's really just a reskin of the combat from KH3. The only thing that hints at something new is the build option in the command menu, and they never explain what it is or what it does. Oh, Sora uses the keychain as a grappling hook and a whip? Well, sure, that could be a surprise, if they didn't show this feature in the first trailer, and even the former just sounds like an alteration of the Flash step. This trailer is just underwhelming overall. 4 years of waiting for something new, and it offers practically nothing over the first trailer. The only noteworthy thing in it is the way they showcase Sora's new Keyblade with hints of Moana being a possible world. And even then you have to watch the Nintendo version of the trailer to pick up those hints. And maybe that's another thing about this trailer that just bugs me. With Kingdom Hearts now being available on Xbox and Nintendo, it ruins the exclusivity that made the series special. Yeah, the mid-cool games were on handheld Nintendo consoles, but that's because Nomura used them as an easy out to rush out the story he wanted to tell as quickly as possible, instead of, you know, taking the time to make sure these games were playable on the PlayStation 2 and 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 and 4 are supposed to be the big ones, games that were developed for a more powerful system. KH1 and 2 were PS2 exclusives, so it would make sense for KH3 to be exclusive to PS4. Even the HD remixes were PlayStation exclusives, but then they just decided to throw it on the Xbox in a vain attempt to save that rotting corpse of a studio. One of the things that made Kingdom Hearts feel special is that you could only play it on PlayStation 2. It created that feeling of suspense where you really had to pick and choose which video game consoles you wanted, because there were games you could only play on that console. It's what makes a lot of Nintendo IPs feel special, because you can't play them on PlayStation or Xbox, only Nintendo consoles. If you wanted to play Halo, you had to buy an Xbox. If you wanted to play Metal Gear Solid, you had to buy a PlayStation. I get that people like games being multi-platform as it allows them to be more accessible, which the only reason they really do it is so the developers can make as much money off of them as possible, but it also takes away that unique feeling each of these games used to have. It doesn't matter if I get either an Xbox or PlayStation anymore, because I can just play Crash Bandicoot on either one. If 90% of games coming out today can be played on any console, then the consoles aren't special anymore, and I don't care about the unique features they offer in terms of streaming movies or YouTube videos. I bought a video game system so I could play video games, not a bunch of internet garbage I can easily do on my laptop. Not only does it homogenize the video game industry, but it's also harmful to the sales of these consoles. Everything that was exclusive to Xbox is now on PlayStation and Nintendo, to the point the only reason to have an Xbox Series X at all is if you just want to have a more traditional experience when playing Halo, and even that ship is sinking really fast. I know that each of the big three will always have their stupid die-hard fans to keep the console wars going forever, but at least back then it used to mean something. Now it doesn't matter which side you're on, because now it's all about developers using people to increase sales by making everything multi-platform, and Kingdom Hearts has fallen into this too. No longer unique as a PlayStation game because now it can just be played on Xbox and Nintendo, or fuck it, maybe just get a Steam machine instead. At least the PC Master Race will appreciate it. I really hope that Square isn't relying on this trailer to tide people over, because it's just really lackluster in what it actually contains. When you hear about a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts, you expect a new world reveal, or a really big story detail. This trailer doesn't have either of those things. It's just more mystery mongering, which is completely boring. Maybe they'll make a more interesting trailer next time in 2029, but until then this is all we have to go on, and what it is unfortunately nothing to write home about.